crazy if you lost your way. I don't know if you're not ready, if you've changed your mind. No, I will freak out. Promise I won't stop until you hold on. Never let go. I will just freak out. Darling, I won't stop until you hold on. Never let go. Sure, I figured out that I never ever really got you. It was in my head. Now my pretty little world is turned up. Need a higher ground. I don't ever ever wanna look down. So smile for me one last time before you soon freak out. So if you're still crazy, if you lost your way, I don't know if you're not ready, if you change your mind. No, I will freak out. Promise I won't stop until you show up and never let go. I will just freak out. Darling, I won't stop until you hold on and never let go. Love you. Just know that I really love you.
What's up, people? Welcome back. Welcome back to another one. Hope all is well. Nancy Guthrie. I think this case is close to being solved. I can feel it. Let me see. At some point, this case is getting ready to, in fact, be solved. I just don't know when, and I don't know how. But at some point, they're getting ready to. I feel like it's close. I do. All right, now let me see if this is working. Now it's working. Greetings, everyone. Now it's working. Greetings, everyone. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's doing well. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. All right, my levels are back. I just wanted to make sure. How's everybody doing, man? Today, we're going to talk about Nancy Guthrie because the case is closed. I believe it's close to being solved at some point. I just don't know when. What Harvey said, we're going to listen to what Harvey said. He said the FBI is not talking to him anymore, which means that they might be on to something, if they're not even trying to talk to him anymore. Might be on to something. Ooh, let me turn this down. If they're not trying to communicate with him anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And share this one more time. And yeah, so they more than likely they're on to something, especially that guy, because you got to think about this. They're not even listening to the Bitcoin person, the person that keeps saying, hey, if you give me a Bitcoin, I'll tell you where she is. But let me say this to the Bitcoin person really quickly. You're going to get arrested. You're definitely going to get arrested along with everybody else because what you're doing is a crime. You know why? Because you're not telling the authorities where she is. That's a crime, actually. And they're going to find you. So you're going to be charged with a crime. The person that abducted her is going to be charged with a crime. All you guys getting locked up. And I can't wait to cover you guys' cases because all you guys getting locked up. You guys thought you were smart, but let me just explain something to you. You're not smarter than the system. Okay? You're not bigger than the program. You're not bigger than the system. Just because they haven't arrested you yet doesn't mean they're not coming for you. I'll repeat it again. Just because they didn't make any arrests yet don't mean they're not coming for you. And don't mean that they're not watching you. They make arrests on their own clock, on their own time. They do things. They don't just go out and make arrests. They'll watch you first. But if you're in the United States, if you don't believe me, try to get on a plane now and try to leave the United States and see you won't be able to leave. That's how you know they're watching you. They're watching these people. You know what I'm saying? They are. Let me see this. Can y'all still hear me? Hold on one second, man. This is crazy. Testing. Yeah, y'all can still hear me. There's something wrong with my thing. Hold on one second. Testing. Let's see. How can we do this? All right. And there we go. I got my levels back. Okay. I had wanted to get my levels back on my microphone. There we go. I see it. They are going to catch these people, guys. Like, you best to watch and believe. They're gonna catch them. It's a matter of time at this point.
He knows where Nancy Guthrie's kidnappers are, who they are, and will lead authorities to them for the price of 1 Bitcoin. And I am going to lay out everything we know, the communications with the FBI, and I want to hear from you and everybody watching and listening. Is this guy a fraudster or the real deal? So let me tell you what we got today, early this morning. So this guy, he starts out by saying, I am not the idiot who recently called in a tip about her burial site in Mexico. Now, there were reports recently that somebody had said that they knew where she was in Mexico. He's saying, I'm not that guy. Although he did tell us earlier when she was supposedly still alive that they had taken her to Mexico. But here's where it gets
But wait, so the people understand, is this somebody who had previously sent a note which you turned over to the FBI?
We've turned all the notes over to the FBI.
And is this one that the FBI gave some credence to? Not this
No.
particular one, but an earlier one?
Well, he's referring to somebody who made a statement that her body was buried in Mexico. I have no idea whether the FBI took it seriously. He's saying, it's not me. But this is what's interesting. He says only 2 are directly involved, and I doubt they would be the ones to call in and snitch on themselves. So I think that's really interesting because he has told us before, if you believe him, that there are multiple kidnappers, but a main guy. This is the first time he's given us a number where he says 2. So he says there are 2 kidnappers. And he's basically saying it wasn't me that made that comment that circulated recently about Mexico. And it certainly wasn't them, because why would they snitch on themselves? So that's kind of interesting.
When did this guy or this person first email or send you a note?
Days after we received the first ransom note.
Okay,
Days.
so this is somebody who's been sending to you all along?
And at the beginning, almost every day. We've received at least a dozen of these from the same guy.
And you and I have talked about this before. You can do a pretty good triage on whether somebody is 5150 just on the basis of the notes they send you.
He's not 51. He's not 5150. He's either legit or a sophisticated fraudster. He's one of the two. He's either legit or really sharp and knows how to defraud people. But there is nothing in these notes that make him seem off kilter in terms of his.
Well, and you've got more experience than most. In fact, 98% of the population of being able to detect who's off kilter, to use your term.
So then this is where it gets really interesting. He says, I have a phone stashed in a secure location, guaranteeing both the information it stores and the safety of the phone. What it contains is my definition of delivering this on a silver platter. A short video of the main guy with Nancy the day that was probably her last. And then he says, in addition to that, the phone has the names and addresses of the kidnappers. So he is saying he has a video of Nancy because he had said earlier that he had seen Nancy with the kidnappers. That if you believe him, he has some close connection to the kidnappers. That's what he says. But he says he is not involved in the kidnapping and has repeated that over and over.
Here's the thing, though. He just told on himself. He knows who the kidnappers are. He's going to jail. When they find, because if you notice, the FBI is not even taking him up on this. They're not even talking about it, nothing. He's going to jail too. And I bet you it's the same person that's been requesting this Bitcoin money all along. Sir, you're going to jail. The reason why you're going to jail is because you know a crime has been committed. You're not calling the authorities. You're going to jail. Oh, yes. You going to prison. You going to not prison. You going to prison. You going to prison, as my little cousin used to say, because he couldn't pronounce stuff right when he was younger. He said, you going to prison. You going to jail. That's where you're going. You're going to jail. Okay, you're the same person that's been requesting this Bitcoin the whole time, sir. Greetings, everybody. Hey, Deb, how you doing? Blaze, Bradley. He's going to jail. I don't want to hear it no more. Just say where she's at. Do the right thing. Why can't you do the right thing? Why do you got to have Bitcoin? Why can't you do the right thing? And because if it was me, I would call the FBI, say, listen, I know where she's at. I'm not one-on-one nothing from y'all. And here's where she's at, man. And here's who did it. That's it. That's it. I don't want no money. That's somebody's mother. Okay? They want their family back. Now they're saying what happened was they believe that she was hold on. They believe that she died in their hand, died in their custody, and they got afraid, and they panicked. Okay, this person is not quitting. He is determined to get some Bitcoin. Sir, you're not going to get, matter of fact, check this out. You're not going to get no Bitcoin. Either tell us where she's at or tell the authorities where she's at or not. You're not getting no Bitcoin at this point. You should have came forward when she was alive. And then we probably got some Bitcoin. It's too late now. Why would the family give you some Bitcoin at this point? Okay, because you're going to jail. So here's what's going to happen. If they do give you the Bitcoin, right, you're still going to jail because they could charge you. Oh, yes, you. I know you probably listen to all these reports. I hope you listen to me. Because if you listen to me, you're going to jail. So you don't have to get second guess it no more. You're going to jail. Oh, yes. You're going to jail, and I'm gonna cover your case over here. You're gonna get charged with murder too. Because you're a part of the conspiracy, because you know what happened and you know the people. You're going to jail. Okay? You don't have to pull the trigger to get charged with murder. You're going to jail. Okay? That's where you're going. So just give her up, man. Just give it up.
Over and over.
So without being cynical, the fact that he only wants one Bitcoin seems odd to me, number one. Number two, since this has started, Bitcoin has not exactly
Right.
skyrocketed in value.
It's about $60,000 now, a little less.
Yeah. And so has he changed the amount he's asked for over time?
Well, in a way, yes, because initially he had asked for what amounted to 100,000 in Bitcoin, and now he's asking for one, which is, like I said, just under $60,000. I agree with you. I mean, it's like, if this guy is really now he says the reason he wants the money is because he has to go underground, and he gets more detailed here, but he's saying that he is basically on the run because these kidnappers appear to know that he has all this information and he's scared of them and he has to go underground. And he goes on in this letter, in this email, to say that he can see if the money is put into the Bitcoin address that he gives, but he will not access it until after the kidnappers are caught, because he doesn't want to access it and then have it traced to him if the kidnappers are still on the loose. So
and I would assume that you, as a subsidiary of Fox, cannot pay for this information.
Well, I'll tell you. I called the FBI about a month ago,
okay,
and I said, look, I may be really naive here, and I don't know, but I keep asking you guys, is this guy a kook? Is he a fraudster? And you tell me you don't know, but you also say you're really trying to track him down. And, it's like you're not dismissing it. And I just got this feeling it might be true. So what if we do a documentary and we actually pay the Bitcoin into the account to trigger this and follow where it leads us? And obviously we'll work with you. So this was about a month ago. And the first reaction I got was, well, that's kind of interesting. Let us run it up the flagpole. And I called them back a couple of days later, and they said, we're still talking about it. And then I kind of got ghosted for almost a month. And I called back a half dozen times and they never returned my call. And I just figured, okay,
When you say they didn't return
FBI.
the call, the FBI. So have you responded? Is this an interactive relationship, or are you not able to respond to what he said?
I can't respond, but we respond in a different sort of way, and I'll tell you in a minute. But let me just say,
Okay.
a couple of days ago, the FBI did call me, and they said, "Well, look, they knew about what I had requested, and they said, look, we feel we're closer to finding this person." And they said this person might actually be a woman. And that's all they said. They didn't say why they thought that. But
that's interesting they said that, because if I was gonna ask you if there was any indicia that this was a female.
he's using he uses a man's name.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything.
No, I know.
Right.
But then they said on the documentary thing to stand down, that they were working on it. And I said, fine. And so because there were these stories that had come out this week that, the second ransom note said that Nancy had died, it seems like that's what triggered this guy into
And so
sending
that
this.
we understand, this person did not tell you that Nancy is dead.
Well, he is essentially, he told us
He or
that
she, it.
I'm going to call him he just because that's what we've
That's the name.
he told us this early on. At one point he said essentially time is of the essence, and then in a follow-up email said time is no longer of the essence. And
how early or how long after
a week.
disappearance?
A week.
Okay.
And so yeah, I mean he has essentially told us over time that she was dead. And again,
he seemed like he know everything. You know what I'm saying? He knows it all. So something is weird about this case, guys. It really is. Something is weird. It's a weird situation. I don't know if they ever gonna find her. But if the FBI knows something, they're not gonna tell us. So they're not gonna tell us if they find something. So that I know for a fact. Hey, it's starting to be reported that Mother Khadijah Farrakhan passed away. She's the wife of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. His wife passed away at the age of 90. She's 90 years old. They've been married a long, long time. Holy crap. They need to watch him now. Because if she passed away, because he's 93, his family got to watch him closely now, because usually they go close together. Because they've been married that long. If they've been married that long, they go close together. So they're going to have to watch him, because his partner, let me see when I'm going to have to come back and do a live chat on that. That's pretty big news. These are historic figures. Let me see, when did he get married? Guys, he got married in 1953. And she passed today. They got married in 1953. Okay? 1953, man. That is what, 73 years. That's a long time. She went to Winston's. Let me see. No, he went to Winston-Salem. I forget where she went. 1953. I'm gonna have to come back with that one, because she's pretty historic, man. They pretty historic figures in history, in American history, dating back to, Malcolm X days, because he was under Malcolm X when Malcolm X was around, and there's a lot of history around him and Malcolm X, whether you think he has something to do with it. the murder of Malcolm X. If you think the nation has something to do with it, some people are saying the nation didn't have anything to do with it. But anyway, I'm going to come back in a second.
Been sending all of these to the FBI, and they have spent a lot of time with my IT team, a lot of time, and multiple FBI agents who have been trying to crack the code of both this guy's email and the first kidnapping note. They've spent a lot of time with our team. As far as I know, they were not able to crack it. I know that until a month ago, they certainly were not able to crack it. I don't know what they've done with this guy.
Is this guy the one that, remember when Savannah did that really tugs at your heartstrings, emotion laden,
Right.
please bring us back? And there was two interpretations. One was she wanted the remains. The other, are people who wanted to be positive or think positively were interpreting it differently. Is this guy the one that you believe was saying that she's already gone?
No, the reason that Savannah, that's a really important point. There was the first ransom note said she was safe but scared. We received that, as did two Tucson television stations. The second note was only sent to one of the Tucson television stations. And what came out this week is in that second note, which was sent 5 or 6 days after the kidnapping, it said she was dead. And they were basically saying, we didn't do it. She died. And it was that second ransom note from the kidnappers. We know both notes were written by the same people because it was the same, it had the same Bitcoin address for the ransom. So it was that second note that said she was dead. And yes, that weekend, I believe it was Saturday night, is when Savannah came out with that really heart-wrenching statement where she said, bring us back, bring us to our mother so we can bring her home and celebrate. That felt to me back then like they knew she had died. When you say bring her back so we can celebrate.
The Bitcoin address given by notes 1 and number 2 only going to one station, is a different Bitcoin address than the Bitcoin address in this note that we're talking about today.
Yeah, and the reason we know that this note today is the same as is written by the same person is that the last one we received before this one, the last one we received said, well, I'm not going to get in touch with you anymore. I'm going to deactivate the Bitcoin account. And we never published the Bitcoin address. So in this note, he says, I have a new Bitcoin address that you can send this money to. And then he references the old one just to show it's the same guy. And we never published that Bitcoin address, and it is the exact same one.
Have you published any of these notes?
We haven't published the notes in full. We've quoted from them.
Have you even shown anything indicia of it?
No, we've never shown any of the notes. But
well, shouldn't we show a little bit of this?
Well, I mean, I've read a lot of this to you, and when he says, look, if you send me the Bitcoin, that I will let you know where this phone is, and it's in a safe location that's easily accessible if you are guided to it. To me, that feels like a safe deposit box. And he says that the phone is turned off, but I will lead you to that safe deposit box and give you the password so you can access the phone. So that's what he says. Now,
so if this guy is not, or woman is not, a fraudster, I think I said this to you once before, and I would hopefully they're listening or hear it. Why don't they just go to a lawyer and have the lawyer work on a contingency to broker the information, which then keeps the anonymity of the client and allows the information to get wherever. You don't even have to rely on a Bitcoin. A lawyer can keep the money in a trust account pending the confirmation of the information or the phone or whatever else it is. I don't know why they make it so cloak and dagger when there seems to be a rather simple way to navigate this.
That's actually a really interesting idea. And he certainly hasn't raised it. And one of the reasons he might not want to do that is if he's a fraudster.
Right. And so that's what tends to lead me to believe that the person is a fraudster, because otherwise, go to a lawyer who's got attorney-client privilege with you, who has a trust account that you can receive whatever funds and not have to disclose, meaning not have to disclose to the general public, so to speak, and then let the lawyer broker this deal so that you can then take that information and if you have some interest in getting this solved, that's the way to solve it.
Okay, I will double down with you on that and say there is more evidence he's a fraudster. And then after I tell you what that evidence is, then I'll tell you why he might not be a fraudster. So,
oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to get my fraudster whiplash.
You are going to get you are going to get fraudster whiplash.
Let's first go towards doubling down on fraudster.
Okay, let's do that. So you had asked me earlier, is this one-way communication or are we able to communicate with him? We cannot send him emails or anything like that. That is a one-way street that we don't have any ability to do that, never have. However, we have a website and we have television shows and we have social media. And on all of those, we have said things really directly to him. And I said something to him early today after getting this email. And I said, look, you could be an absolute scammer and show there's a reason the FBI and the Guthrie family hasn't paid you. So it's got to give them pause that you're the real, whether you're the real deal or not. So what about this? Send us, and this is the way we've communicated with him. I put this on social media and on the website today. And I said, send us a screen grab from the video of Nancy Guthrie, something, just a screen grab that shows you the real deal. And we will immediately forward it to the FBI. And I would assume if they think it's real, they're going to pay the money. So a couple hours after we posted that, he sent another email saying, I'm not going to do that because the metadata will lead them directly to me, and I'm not going to take that chance. So that made me think, this guy's full of it.
Right, because, and once again, you could show it to a lawyer confidentially. The lawyer can take a look. The lawyer does not have to access the metadata, but the lawyer can then do a reverse proffer to the FBI or the authorities. The lawyer could also, if you're worried about being apprehended or if you're worried about your liability, so to speak, then they can do, if it turns out to be true and you're not a fraudster, they can work out some kind of an arrangement for you.
That's right. Okay. So that's
now,
my doubling down.
I know. What leads you to the other? Where's the whiplash on the other end?
So I send these 2 emails today to the FBI, and they are saying, we're on it. We're on it.
Wow.
You know, it's like, stop sending us these stupid emails. And I'm not getting that. And so I'm just really confused. Why are they spending time on this guy if they don't believe that he might be legit? But on the other hand, if they think he even might be legit, why not roll the dice on 60 grand, which in the greater scheme of things, you know, it's not going to break the bank. But if they're spending this much time trying to figure out who he is, then roll the dice on this thing. Because the guy, there was a point, Mark, where, I don't know, a month in, I did a social media post, again, the only way we could contact this guy. And I just said, look, the FBI literally asked me to do this social post and say to you that if this is a scam, they will find you, they will charge you, they will prosecute you, and they will send you to prison. And they had actually asked me to say that, and I did. And he sent me an email back saying, I am well aware that anybody who pulls a scam like this can be prosecuted and sent to prison. I am not doing that. So look, I don't know, but I mean, if 0 to 100, 100 is he's telling the truth and 0 is no credibility. Where are you on the spectrum?
Right now, until you give me some other piece of information that I didn't have 8 minutes ago, I'm giving it about a 65%, a 65 out of 100.
Is that worth rolling? Is that worth rolling the dice?
Yeah, I think that is worth rolling the dice.
So you would roll the dice?
If I'm you and I've got a website like you've got, I would roll the dice.
Well, we will not do anything like that unless the FBI said, go ahead. Because I figured if they weren't, what skin is it off their teeth if we do this documentary and do it? But for whatever reason, they said, no, stand down. Why are they saying that?
How long ago did they tell you to stand down?
This week.
Okay, so.
Well, they had, when I first called them about the idea, they said, don't do anything yet. Let us run it up the flagpole.
Right, then you did the follow-up. Right. Have you asked them since this last one?
Yeah, when I was on the phone with them this week, and I mentioned it again, they said, no, stand down.
Okay, well, then that would lead me to believe that my 65 is a very confident 65 because that would lead me to believe that they think they've got something. If they thought this was a complete dead end, they wouldn't have told you to stand down.
Yeah, and we have never spoken with the Guthrie family on this. So I mean, and you know,
This has got to be the most
it's
unbelievably
heart-wrenching.
heart-wrenching. It's a perfect word for it.
It-
Can you imagine your mom is gone, you don't know what's happened, and you've got every grifter in the world, and you've got uh, it's just I don't even know how to. It's inexplicable.
Well,
in
and
terms of the
it's not just that.
emotion.
It's like with Savannah, she's got a job that requires her, to at times be joyful and at times, just be inquisitive and to have all sorts of emotions, depending on what she's doing, during each, multi-hour day of the Today Show. And what's underlying all of it is this pain that sometimes just seeps out, which it did this week, where she just broke down. And when she breaks down in the middle of it, you think, my God, this woman literally has to act every day. And it is true acting, to be able to, just bury that, emotion. And it always just doesn't stay down.
Yeah, it's heart-wrenching. That's why I said if you where are you? You asked me. I'm at a solid 65. Where
I'm
are you on
around
this
I'm
scale?
around there too. But to me, a 65 is roll the dice.
Right, I agree. Anything more than 50 is roll the dice.
So I got a theory about this.
And then wait, do I have all the information at this point that you have?
Uh, most, I suppose. But I mean, there were some things that they asked us not to say. But I got to.
And when the things they asked you not to say would seem to support the idea that this person is legit, correct?
I can't say that. I can't say one way or the other. It's more about the kidnappers than it is about him, about this guy.
Really?
But
Okay.
as to the kidnappers, I have a theory. I
Which is?
think clearly these kidnappers wanted money, and that's all they wanted. And when they kidnapped Nancy Guthrie, I think their intention was, as soon as they got the money, release her. It was all about money. And then she dies on their
Unexpectedly,
watch, and
right.
they freak out and go radio silent because they've committed murder. It's felony murder. You kidnap somebody and they die as a result of the anguish and the fright and the fact that she didn't have her meds and everything else. It's felony murder. So these guys thought they were doing a kidnapping, and then all of a sudden Nancy Guthrie dies and they realize, holy crap, we're going to be prosecuted for murder. And they go away, never to be seen again. They never ask for another ransom amount. They, in fact, in that second letter, they didn't ask for any specific amount. They just said, she's dead. We didn't do it.